So I'm at the rec and I look over at my phone, like taking a break in between some basketball. See Ime Udoka, tell me if I pronounce that correctly, is the new head coach for the Boston Celtics. Let's go. Let's get a snap of the fingers, round of applause for the man of the hour. If you guys do not know who Ime Udoka is, he's a long-time top assistant for multiple teams, and mainly he was known for the Spurs. He started out as Spurs, and he's a former NBA player, okay? And basically, he played basketball for about 13 years, and he played for the Spurs, Kings, Trailblazers, Knicks, Lakers throughout his career. But he started off for about 7, 8 years as a San Antonio Spurs assistant, then spent a year or two as the Philadelphia 76ers assistant, and the last year spent as the Brooklyn Nets assistant. So basically, he has had, was a role player mainly. He started one full season, but this is a coach that I think he's a player's coach. Okay, he's a player's coach. That's what I want to say. And from what Adrian Wojnarowski has said, I'm going to quote all his tweets from right here. The Boston Celtics are finalizing an agreement to hire Brooklyn Nets assistant Ime Udoka as the franchise's new head coach. Udoka separated himself quickly in Brad Stevens' search process, including significant support from Celtics players who were impressed with Udoka after working under him with Team USA in the Worlds, which is, I assume, the World Cup. And that's awesome. Like, he is a great coach. He's an NBA champion winning coach. He won an NBA championship with the Spurs. So, kudos to them for getting a coach that I truly believe has, if you look, Udoka at the Nets and the Spurs, I feel like Udoka helped bring in these transition. He's going to help the Boston get that identity as a transition team that's good on transition offense and defense, has length, quickness, and is able to play positionless basketball. I truly believe Udoka was part of the evolution and innovation of the modern day Spurs that we're starting to see with, Devin Vassell, not Devin Vassell, let me take that back, Derek White, DeJounte Murray, I wouldn't say Lonnie Walker, but what we've seen from Derek White and DeJounte Murray, prime examples of their style of play is, I feel like Udoka has been credited for helping them there. And then even with the Philadelphia 76ers, and he was last year during the bubble with them, okay? And in the bubble, the 76ers had a bunch of players, and Udoka seems to be the guy who's the voice of the locker room. People really respect, and he's a man that amongst his peers, he's a man amongst his peers, and he's a very good coach. And I think it's a guy that what we're going to see is a combination of Steve Nash's offense and San Antonio Spurs defense. I think we're going to see a lot of ball movement, a lot of passing. I think especially we're going to see Jason Tatum kind of play more of a Kevin Durant role. If you want to compare, like if you want to think of how Kevin Durant was kind of in the playoffs like a queen, just being moved around and utilized all over the floor and just going off. Jaylen Brown, I think we're going to see him as well. Those two be established as the two top guys, with Marcus Smart being there as the defensive hound, as the older veteran in the locker room, with Al Horford right next to him. So the old guys are Marcus Smart and Al Horford now, I think, and Udoka is going to be the one who brings it all together, okay? And I think that was one of the big things was we were wondering, is Udoka going to be able to, have success implementing a system or offense? Because we don't know, obviously, right now what he's going to run, what he prefers or what he likes to run. So that's all up in the air right now. So once that comes out, I think we'll have a better understanding of what the team's going to look like. Obviously, this is still going to have a big influence of Brad Stevens in it. But I do think Udoka's first task is going to find out who's going to be the point guard, who's going to be handling the rock for them on a day-to-day basis to make sure that they can still be... This is a team that's going to continue, first year, have aspirations to win, not a championship, but be close to playoff contention, okay? Nothing more, nothing less. I mean, obviously more would be a championship, but this team is a team, they better be ready to... that the fan base knows that they're going to have big expectations. Now, Evan Fournier, there's a bunch of free agents and stuff, so this team, I think, roster-wise, could look very similar to what it already is. You know, nothing major in the sense happening with the hiring of Udoka. But what I think it does do is show that the Boston Celtics are serious about creating a, a good culture within their locker room, which was what was the report that came out that Brad Stevens did not have the best, culture in his locker room. So I want to hear your guys' opinions. What do you guys think of the signing or the hiring of Ime Udoka? I think it was a great one that was needed, and I think it's going to prosper. So let me hear those thoughts down below. I mean, it's very early. What are we going to see from this? I don't know. Like, Udoka spent 9 years as an NBA assistant, 7 with Greg Popovich, 1 with Spurs, and one with the 76ers and 1 with the Nets. He's an upcoming coach. He's an Oregon native, Portland to be to be specific. But I really want to hear, what do you guys think? Like, there's various changes. This team was expected to play above 500, and you can't argue you can argue injuries was a problem, but Udoka's hiring is a big part, and the roster adjustments will be expected as well, with Tatum and Brown as the core to be expected to build around them. Stevens is going to have his work cut out for him, but whatever they do, it's going to be interesting. I think Brad Stevens is the right man for the job. I don't know what you guys think. I've always been a big Brad Stevens fan, and I know you could argue he's caught in a lot of flack over the last few years. I think some of it's not entirely his fault, but hey. But that's it, guys. Let me hear your thoughts.